Welcome to CEO Money. I'm Michael Yorba. Thanks for joining with us. I have John Adams of Waratek with me today. John, welcome to the show. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
All right, John, give us some background on you, and then I want to know about Waratek, and I have a list of other questions for you.
Great. Background on myself, I reside here in Atlanta, and Waratek is an Irish domicile company, but all of our executive leadership is here in Atlanta. And I've spent a number of years building a variety of companies in the physical security space and now in the cybersecurity space.
All right. Now, Waratek focuses on web application vulnerabilities. The threat's real. Global corporations like Equifax and Sony and the rest of them, we've seen some big problems occur. How are you addressing this issue? And more importantly, how are you doing it better than anybody else?
Well, those are a couple very good questions. So how are we doing it? It's a very different approach. Most organizations have the typical measures in place, whether it's antivirus or anti-malware or firewalls or network firewalls or the last generation, which is called a web application firewall. The challenge with those products are that they don't get deep enough into the application, and that's where organizations are breached, primarily because that's where all the information is, right? So what Waratek does, which is very different, all of those other products work off of the data. And what they do is that they track the data. They use normal tools like whitelisting and blacklisting and pattern matching and regular expressions. And they're heuristical methods, and which are basically approximations. Well, our founder and CTO is a compiler engineer, which you never see compiler engineers in the security space, gives us the ability to do some very unique things. And so what we do is we utilize the JIT compiler and to basically fix the code as it's executing, which protects the applications in the heart of the application. And so we do really three very significant things. The first one is patching. Most organizations don't like to patch. So we give you the ability to patch in the runtime without ever taking your application down. The second thing we do is we provide pure hard security against the common attack vectors that most organizations are very familiar with, and we guarantee no false positives. And the last thing we do is we give you the ability to virtually upgrade those older applications. And that is very significant because across the Fortune 500, across the Fortune 1000, virtually every organization we talk to, they have older applications that are hard to protect. And so we give you the ability to virtually upgrade them, put them in our virtual container, and therefore they're running in the most current version of software without ever touching the source code.
Talk to me about the scalability of your company and where you're planning on taking it next.
Scalability, the beauty of our product is we've spent a lot of time engineering it so it's extraordinarily simple to use. And so we've started growing both a direct sales organization, and we have a couple channel partners that we're working with that now that the product is very channel friendly, they are adding multiple customers every single month. And so what we've done is we focused on, very brand recognizable customers in a variety of verticals. The financial sector, investment banking, retail banking, payment processors, credit card companies, manufacturing, healthcare organizations, energy and power, and a number of other college and campus and universities, and a number of other verticals that we work with. So now that we have that referenceable customer base, it really is all about scale. We're adding salespeople, we're adding a channels program to really position the company for broader market penetration.
All right. I would think that media companies would be a big customer for you because there's new technologies out there right now that can take phonied content and then put it behind your face, and then that's a whole
Absolutely.
nother type of cybercrime. Now let me move on here because we only have limited time, and I have several questions for you. Web applications, they're the primary target for attackers. Talk to me about their software flaws and what you're doing that makes you different.
Yeah, the challenge with web applications are that represents the single greatest attack opportunity for the hackers. And so is that a new vulnerability or a new weakness is being reported every 30 minutes by NIST. And so every 30 minutes, a new vulnerability is reported. Well, the bad guys see that, and that gives them entree into that application. So again, by utilizing the compiler, which we do to provide security, it gives us the ability to get into the heart of the app and block those at the point of entry. And so one of the biggest challenges is organizations face with security is what's called false positives. And so that means it's basically a false alarm. You think you're being attacked when you're not. And organizations get so frustrated with that, they turn off the functionality. And therefore, that leaves the door open for attackers. So by being deep in the heart of the application and fixing the code as it's executing, which is very different than anyone else, that gives us the ability to protect our organizations. And by the way, one last comment, you mentioned media companies. We have several media companies that we've just signed recently for the very reason that you're speaking of.
Yeah, because I'm employing an app, and very shortly I'm going to be streaming the show over the app, and I would hate to have somebody come in and hijack my content.
Right.
Are you first to market or strongest to market on this kind of protection for media companies as a whole?
Great question. So I would characterize it this way. The approach that we are utilizing the JIT compiler to provide security, we are absolutely first to market. Secondly, if you talk to our customers, they've looked at a variety of the other approaches that I mentioned earlier, the web application firewalls, the next-gen WAFs, and everything else. Mm-hmm. And they come back to Waratek because our product provided the greatest level of security with the minimal amount of business disruption as well.
Now, it's obvious to engage Waratek is the normal answer for being able to protect yourself, since we're on the show talking to each other. But there are some other simple steps that lead up to being more protected. Can you give us some wisdom on that?
Well, first of all, depth in defense is always the best methodology, and we preach that to our customers. There's no such thing as a silver bullet. You have to have multiple tools at your disposal. That's the first thing. The second thing is that, look at the various layers that you need to protect. Everyone is focused on the desktop or, and whatever, but you have to protect your middleware. You have to protect your servers. So it's a variety of things, and simple things like, changing passwords routinely, patching routinely, and doing those things can make a significant difference in an organization's security profile.
Give me an example of the variance in type of customer, whether it's industry sector or its size, that really is your sweet spot.
Oh boy, well, clearly we see the Fortune 5,000 as our biggest targets, primarily because those are organizations using a lot of different web applications. They have a lot of public-facing applications as well. And many of these applications have been around for quite a long period of time. And therefore, those older applications are very vulnerable to attack. The SMB is something we're starting to grow now, those small to mid-sized businesses, because they still have the vulnerabilities, but they don't have the organizational infrastructure to do the manual procedures. And so basically, we automate many of those things for them.
John, it's been a pleasure having you on my show. I hope to have further conversations with you so that you can help keep the rest of the people that watch our show safer.
Well, I greatly appreciate it, and I encourage everyone to come to our website, www.waratek.com. We're offering a free 30-day trial so the market can try our solutions for themselves and get a great experience. But again, thank you very much.
You're welcome. And I'm going to send you my app so that you can take a look at it, make sure I'm pretty secure.
Perfect. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you.
You're welcome, John. All right, you've been watching CEO Money with Michael Yorba. Thanks for joining with us. Don't forget, download our app, CEO Money, on not on iHeart. That's our new show coming up on iOS and Android. We'll talk to you soon.